Good morning, everybody. We read about a difficult episode this week, the rebellion of Korach. Korach, who was seeking power and was looking for leadership, gathered together a random motley crew of individuals who had different reasons to want to rebel against the leadership of Moses and Aaron, each one for their own reason. And he brought them together, he unified them in a rebellion, and that had drastic effects and ramifications, including a massive plague where Jewish people started dying in large numbers. Until God comes along and he instructs Moses and Aaron to take the ketoris, the incense that was offered every single day in the tabernacle and that would later be offered in the temple in Jerusalem, and to take that incense and put it onto a fire pan and light that incense, and that would stop the plague, which is exactly what happened. They lit the incense and the plague stopped and people stopped dying. Which begs the obvious question, what is it about the power of this incense that has the ability to stop a plague, to stop people from dying? Is it some magical sort of potion? It's not usually the way the Torah tends to go. So the commentaries discuss this, and I saw a beautiful insight. The ketoris, the incense, was a combination of a number of spices, aromas brought together. Some of them were very sweet and some of them were quite bitter. And they were brought together, but when these various aromas were brought together in this mixture of incense called the ketoris, the smell was magnificent. The smell was beautiful. And the commentaries point out that this is symbolic for Jewish unity. That among the Jewish people, there are all kinds of us, all kinds of Jewish people, some that we think smell wonderful and some that we might not think smell so great because we may differ than them on ideological issues or moral issues or philosophical reasons, right? So we have the combination of all of these spices representing the unification of different types of Jewish people coming together and creating this beautiful smell. Now, Korach's rebellion, as I said, was a random group of individual people, each with their own gripe and their own grievance, coming together to try to bring down the leadership of Moses and Aaron. And the response to that is Jewish unity. Bring in the incense. Light the ketoris, because that unity, that unifying power represented by the ketoris has the ability to stop the plague, to stop people from dying. And I think that this is particularly important right now. Every day we open up our news in the morning and we see another fallen soldier. It breaks our hearts. It's devastating. Why are we suffering so much? Why are so many Jewish people dying? We don't know the answer to that question. But we do know, and we can learn from this episode in the Parsha, something that we can do to perhaps try to stop to stop the Jewish people from dying. And that is the incense. I'm not talking about lighting incense in your house. I'm talking about what the incense symbolizes, the Jewish unity, the bringing together of different types of Jews in a unified whole. We need to spend some time thinking about that. It's a good thing to discuss at Shabbat, maybe with your family. What can I do, me personally? What can we do as individuals to try to create a greater sense of achdut, of oneness, of unity among the Jewish people? And who are the types of Jews that I maybe judge unfairly, or that I maybe have predisposed opinions about, unfavorable opinions? How can I change the way I look at them? How can I look at them in a more positive light? And by doing so, bring a greater sense of wholeness and oneness to the Jewish people. And if we do that, please God, it will have the desired effect. And we will see an end to the Jewish soldiers dying and Jewish people dying in the land of Israel in this war. And we'll see an end, and we'll see our hostages come home and all the things that we're praying for every day. Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom from Yerushalaim.